Pierogi are dumplings of unleavened dough first boiled, then they are baked or fried usually in butter with onions traditionally stuffed with potato filling, sauerkraut, ground meat, cheese, or fruit. Of Central and Eastern European provenance, they are usually semicircular, but are rectangular or triangular in some cuisines. The Polish word pierogi is plural. The singular form pierogi is rarely used, as a typical serving consists of several pierogi. Pierogi are similar to the Russian pelmeni or Ukrainian vareniki and are not to be confused with pierożki or a pieróg. Polish pierogi are similar to the Ukrainian vareniki. Pierogi is a version with potatoes and quark. Origin and names. While dumplings as such are found throughout Eurasia, the specific name pierogi, with its Proto-Slavic root pa, and its various cognates in the West and East Slavic languages, shows the name's common Slavic origins, predating the modern nation-states and their standardized languages, although in most of these languages the word means pie. In English, the word pierogi and its variants, pierogy, pyrogy, pierogy, pierogy, pirohy, pyrogi, pierogy, purgeon, pyrogy, pirohy, pyrogi, and pyrohy, are pronounced with a stress on the letter O. Pierogi are small enough to be served many at a time, so the plural form of the word is usually used when referring to this dish. In Polish pierogi is actually the plural, pierogi being singular. In Czech and Slovak pierogi is also the plural, pyro is singular. In Germany, this type of dumpling is called pieróg in the singular and pyrogen in the plural, although sometimes the Polish name pierogi is used. Pierogi are popular among the peoples of the former Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth. The West Slavic Poles, Czechs, and Slovaks, as well as the East Slavic Belarusians, Russians, Ukrainians and Rusines, Lithuanians, and the Germans consume this dish, although under different names. In some East European languages, variants of this dish are known by names derived from the root of the word to boil, see vareniki. There is a similarity to Italian ravioli, culurgins, tortelli, tortellini, and tortellini, to German Maultaschen, and also to Ashkenazi krepelch. In Turkey, Transcaucasus, and Central Asia similar round pockets of dough with a meat filling are called manti or mantu, kinkali, or shuchfra. In East Asia, similar foods are served, such as Chinese gyoza, Korean mandu, Japanese gyoza, Mongolian buse, and Nepalese Tibetan momo. A food item similar to this is prepared throughout India. It is known by the name gwara in the state of Gujarat, Karanji in the state of Maharashtra, and Gujia in many Hindi-speaking states in northern India. It is typically prepared by stuffing grainy sweet flour, sweetened coconut and small pieces of dry fruit in a dough covering which is deep-fried until crisp. It is quite popular during the festival of Holi. Recipes. Ingredients: pierogi may be stuffed with mashed potatoes, fried onions, quark, cabbage, sauerkraut, meat, mushrooms, spinach, or other ingredients depending on the cook's personal preferences. The secret to creating the dough is to add some of the potato to the pasta dough. It creates a smooth texture strongly desired by traditionalists. Dessert versions of the dumpling can be stuffed with a fresh fruit filling, such as cherry, strawberry, Saskatoon berry, raspberry, blueberry, peach, plum, or apple. Stoned prunes are sometimes used as well as jam or sweetened curd. For more flavor, sour cream can be added to the dough mixture, and this also tends to lighten the dough. Mashed potatoes mixed with farmer's cheese and fried onions is a popular filling in Poland. These are commonly referred to as ruski pierogi. A popular filling for pierogi in Canada is mashed potatoes mixed with grated cheddar cheese. Jewish krepelch are filled with ground meat, mashed potato or another filling, usually boiled and served in chicken soup. They are similar to Italian tortellini and Chinese wontons. Preparation: the dough, which is sometimes, but not always made simply by mixing flour and warm water, is rolled flat and then cut into circles using a cup or drinking glass. The filling is placed in the middle and the dough folded over to form a half circle. The pierogi or varenki are boiled until they float, drained, and sometimes fried or baked in butter before serving. They can be served with melted butter, sour cream, or garnished with small pieces of fried bacon, onions, and also mushrooms. Dessert varieties may be topped with apple sauce. Some families in North America serve them with maple syrup. Another variation of pierogi, popular among Czechs and Slovaks and called pierogi, uses dough made of flour and curd with eggs, salt and water. Variations, Poland. Traditionally considered peasant food, they eventually gained popularity and spread throughout all social classes including nobles. Although pierogi is still an important part of Polish culture and cuisine today, they are very popular in other European countries such as Slovakia, Romania, and Ukraine. Pierogi are the Polish form of a handmade dumpling, made of unleavened dough, usually shaped into a semicircle. The seams are pressed together to seal the pierogi so that the filling will remain inside when it is cooked. The most common filling is mashed potatoes. There are several variations of fillings depending on where you have pierogi, but some may include potato and cheese, mushrooms, sauerkraut, meat, potato and sour cream, fruits such as blueberry, or even spinach. Some cookbooks from the 17th century describe how even during that era the pierogi were considered a staple of the Polish diet, and each holiday had its own special kind of pierogi created. There were different shapes and fillings for holidays such as Christmas and Easter, and important events like weddings, had their own special type of pierogi kernki filled with chicken meat. There were also pierogi made especially for morning wakes, and even some for caroling season in January. Pierogi are served in a variety of forms and tastes in Polish cuisine, considered to be the Polish national dish. They are served at many festivals, playing an important role as a cultural dish. At the 2007 Pierogi Festival in Kraków, 30,000 pierogi were consumed daily. Polish pierogi are often filled with fresh white cheese, boiled and minced potatoes, and fried onions, which is the most popular variety in North America. This type is called in Polish pjɛ́rɔgsmågi, which literally means Ruthenian pierogi. Ruski pierogi are probably the most popular kind of pierogi in North America. A filling is made of mashed potatoes, a white cheese and sautéed diced onion. But it is important to underline that this is not necessarily the most popular in Europe, although very much liked. More popular in Poland are pierogi filled with ground meat, mushrooms and cabbage, or for dessert an assortment of fruits. Sweet pierogi are usually served with sour cream, savory pierogi with bacon fat and bacon bits. Poles traditionally serve two types of pierogi for Christmas Eve supper. One kind is filled with sauerkraut and dried mushrooms, another in a small uszka filled only with dried wild mushrooms and a is served in clear borscht. Linie pierogi are a different type of food, similar to lazy warenki, kopitka, or halua-ky. Pierogi are probably the only Polish dish that has its own patron saint. SHWIAM registered trademark TYJZ Pierogami is an old expression of surprise, roughly equivalent to the American good grief, or holy smokes. The origin of this expression is unknown. Russia, traditional Russian pieroga, and pierożka sound similar to Polish pierogi, but are different dishes. The Russian counterparts to Polish pierogi appeal to the first Ma copyright ni and Ukrainian-style vareniki. They are most often filled with meat, potatoes, quark cheese, cabbage, berries. They can be topped with fried onions and bacon, or butter, and served with sour cream. Hungary, in Hungarian cuisine, the equivalent of pierogi is dérolgy, pasta pockets filled with jam or sometimes meat. Dérolgy is consumed primarily as a festive food for special occasions such as weddings. Slovakia, a traditional dish in Slovak cuisine is bryndzové copyright pierogi, crescent-shaped dumplings filled with salty bryndzа cheese. Germany, in Germany, various types of pierogi are known, including spinach which is a local addition to the cuisine. Romania. In Romania, a similar recipe of pierogi called cola pound unerie in Moldova and Bukovina or churro and registered trademark TE in Republic of Moldova exists. Cola pound unleavened is often a dessert filled with jam or with cheese, and the dough is made with wheat flour boiled in water as ravioli. In Transylvania, the name Pyro unregistered trademark tea is used in Romanian families of German or Slavic origin, and the filling can also be a whole, fresh, seedless plum. The term Cola unregistered trademark is used by native Romanian families and are usually filled with smar cententia centnar florin, traditionally called Cola unregistered trademark Aku smar cententia centnar florin. Ukraine. Ukrainian vareniki are boiled and sometimes fried. North America, pierogi are widespread in Canada and the United States, having been popularized by Central and Eastern European immigrants. They are particularly common in areas with large Polish, Ukrainian, or Ruthen populations, such as Buffalo, Chicago, Omaha, Western Massachusetts, Minneapolis, Detroit, Cleveland, Western Pennsylvania, and New Jersey in the U.S., and the provinces of Manitoba, British Columbia, Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Ontario in Canada. Pierogi at first were a family food among immigrants as well as being served in ethnic restaurants. In the post-World War II era, freshly cooked pierogi became a staple of fundraisers by ethnic churches. By the 1960s, pierogi were a common supermarket item in the frozen food aisles in many parts of the United States and Canada. Pierogi maintain their place in the grocery aisles to this day. While pierogi are often eaten as a main dish in Canada and European countries, Americans often consider them a side dish, often served with meat. Numerous towns with Central and Eastern European heritage celebrate the pierogi. The city of Whiting, Indiana celebrates the food at its annual Pierogi Fest every July. Pierogi are also commonly associated with Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where there is a pierogi race at every home Pittsburgh Pirates baseball game. In the race, 4 runners wearing pierogi costumes race toward a finish line. The village of Glendon in Alberta, Canada erected in 1993 a roadside tribute to this culinary creation, a 25-foot fiberglass pierogy, complete with fork. The United States enjoys the most developed pierogi market because of its having the largest Central and Eastern European immigrant population in North America. Unlike other countries with newer populations of European settlers, the modern pierogi is found in a wide selection of flavors throughout grocery stores in the U.S. Many of these grocery brand pierogi contain non-traditional ingredients to appeal to general American tastes, including spinach, jalapeno ±0 and chicken. Pierogi enjoyed a brief popularity as a sports food when Paula Newby Fraser adopted them as her food of choice for the biking portion of the 1989 Hawaii Ironman triathlon. For more than a decade thereafter, Mrs. T sponsored triathlons, some professional triathletes and fun runs around the country. For many triathletes, pierogi represented an alternative to pasta as a way to boost their carbohydrate intakes. However, the pierogi trend in the United States is not dying. Several cities such as San Diego now have their own pierogi trucks with popular flavors, and restaurants across the United States from San Francisco, Seattle, to New York City are adding gourmet pierogi flavors to their menus. According to pierogi manufacturer Mrs. T's, based in Shenandoah, Pennsylvania, pierogi consumption in the United States is largely concentrated in a geographical region dubbed the Pierogi Pocket, an area including New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Indiana, Chicago, Detroit, parts of the northern Midwest and southern New England, which accounts for 68% of annual U.S. pierogi consumption. Canada has a large Polish population, and an even larger Ukrainian or Rusyn population, and their pyrohy, pierogi or pyrogy are very common. Since Canada also has immigrants from many other pierogi-making people, a wide diversity of recipes are used. The Canadian market for pierogi is second only to that of the U.S. market, the latter having been the destination of choice for the majority of Central and Eastern European immigrants prior to, and during, World War II. Packed frozen pierogies can be found everywhere Central and Eastern European immigrant communities exist and are generally ubiquitous across Canada, even in big chain stores. Typically frozen flavors include potato with either cheddar, onion, bacon, cottage cheese or mixed cheeses. Homemade versions are typically filled with either mashed potatoes, sauerkraut, or fruit. These are then boiled, and either served immediately, put in ovens and kept warm, or fried in oil or butter. Popular fruit varieties include strawberry, blueberry, and Saskatoon berry. Potato and cheese or sauerkraut versions are usually served with some or all the following: butter or oil, sour cream, fried onions, fried bacon bits or kielbasa, and a creamy mushroom sauce. Some ethnic kitchens will deep fry pierogies. Both dessert and main course dishes can be served this way. A good method is to parboil the dumplings, then after drying, they are then deep fried. The frozen varieties are sometimes served casserole-style with a mixture of chopped ham, onions, peppers and cheddar cheese, or with an Italian-style mixture of ground beef, onions and tomato sauce. National chain restaurants also feature the dish or variations. Boston Pizza has a sandwich and a pizza flavored to taste like pierogies, while Smitty's serves theirs as an appetizer deep-fried with salsa. Some Chinese café copyrights in the Canadian prairies have taken to billing their pot stickers as Chinese pierogies. Although called vareniki in standard Ukrainian, speakers of the Canadian Ukrainian or Rusyn dialect refer to them as pyrohy, which can be misheard pitare or putare by Anglophones unaccustomed to the rolled sound, or alveolar flap. This is due to the history of Ukrainian or Rusyn immigration to Canada, which came predominantly from the former Austro-Hungarian Empire, where the dialect had many more loanwords from Polish, German, Romanian and other Central and Eastern European languages. Similar dishes: ravioli, kripolch, gyoza, mandu, manti in Turkish cuisine, kinkali, pelmeni, ktev, bar pjɛ́rɔɡሒ, stuffed Turkish pastries, momo, Nepalese meat dumplings, schlutzkrapfen, dumplings in Tyrolean cuisine, karkarancy or ntne and udelm, dumplings in Austrian cuisine, multash, dumplings in German cuisine, kotab, stuffed pastries in Persian cuisine, Iranian cuisine, gyoza, stuffed dumplings in Japanese cuisine, pipo, meaning ear, in Hawaiian cuisine. See also Pierożki, notes and references. External links: media related to pierogy at Wikimedia Commons, the dictionary definition of pierogy at Wiktionary, pierogy at Wikibook cookbooks,